in the squadron. They called him Bullets, but we call him Greg Kelly. Greg Kelly is on the air on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
We are back on the air with the legendary John Catsimatidis. John Catsimatidis owns this radio station. He owns Gristedes, a lot of other entities. He is kind of a mogul in the best sense. And John, thank you for everything. You help make this world go round. You give a lot of people a lot of jobs, and it's amazing to be in your presence. Not to overdo it, but it is. Your accomplishment, it's off the charts. How you feeling today? I understand you just came from a funeral.
I went to a funeral, and a good friend of mine, I would consider him a mentor in banking, and Dick Silverman, and he was with Bank America for 54 years, and one smart guy, one good guy, people loved him, a Marine. He was a Marine, and he never forgot he was a Marine. His wife spoke and said he never forgot he was a Marine. His 3 kids spoke. He never forgot he was a Marine. And he was just a wonderful person. And but you know, he was 87, 88 years old, and I guess our Creator turns the switch off when we get to those ages.
Yeah, at a certain point, he wants us back. John, you said he was a mentor of yours.
Yes.
How did that work? How did you like to tell us a little bit more?
I've always, no matter what my age was, and I had when I was, and I wrote that book when I was in my 20s and in the food business, I had about 12 mentors. Well, you had your father. There couldn't be a better mentor than that.
Yes,
I mean,
very blessed.
He was a Marine, and he was the police commissioner forever, and he did everything.
But I had a home field advantage. You know what I mean?
You had a home field. My father was a hardworking guy. My father was a busboy at Longchamp's restaurant on 42nd Street and Lexington Avenue, and he was then on Monday through Friday, Longchamps. Saturdays and Sundays, he'd go to Astoria because he spoke fluent Italian, and they gave him a job as a waiter.
I love it. Just one more thing on the mentor thing, but you had 12, and I'm curious about the ones, you're not related to. That takes some effort, and that takes I
was in the food business, and in the food business in the 1970s, I would say in the New York area, a lot of them were Jewish. So I would say out of the 12 mentors in the 1970s that I had, probably 8 or 9 of them were Jewish. And I learned a lot from them. And I tell that to all the kids. That's why when I worked with the Police Athletic League, and I was raised in Harlem on 135th Street. And me and your dad would go to the Police Athletic League events up at 119th Street in Harlem, that Pal Center we had. And me and your dad would stand there, and we'd look at the 100 kids in that corner. And you know what I would say to your dad? I'd say to them, how many of them can we save?
Beautiful.
And I had tears in my eyes. And, can we save 30 of the 100, 40? I mean, I know we can't save all 100, but that was the purpose of the Police Athletic League. Now we have, Mr. Morgenthau was the chairman for like 50 years.
The great district attorney.
And your father was there as commissioner for 12 years. And Mr. Morgenthau hired me in 1984. And I just, I'm now the chairman. And I try to do as well as Mr. Morgenthau. Nowhere near it. I got to try even harder.
You know who needs a mentor right now? Mayor Mamdani, because he knows nothing about the food business. He's opened up a grocery store.
He hasn't opened up yet. He's thinking of opening it up, and I think he wants to open it up before the end of his first term.
Wait a second. Is that long? It's going to take that long?
Well, if you look at the speech he made, he says, yes, it could take that long. He might be able to open up one or so in 2027. or 2028. But don't forget, the end of 2027, the new election is 2028 already. November of 2028, is it?
Big promises. And wait, when is the election? 29. 29.
Yeah. November 29?
Yeah. That's the general.
Okay, November 29, yeah. So, I mean, look, he wants to show to his, look, he's a young guy. He went to Bronx Science. He's a smart kid. He's a smart guy. I tried
academically.
Academically, he was only 34 years old. How much did you know when you're 34? You jumped out of an airplane. Good thing you're well.
I know.
I'm glad you're well because I'm glad you're here.
Well, and along the way I learned stuff.
Did you learn when you jumped out of the airplane?
Oh my gosh! And what happened next? You know what leaving an airplane is like?
Tell us.
Well, after the easy part is getting out of the airplane. The hard part, it's like when a cop shoots somebody. There are like 3 investigations, right? And you got the DA, you got the local, you got the internal, right? Because, automatically, if there's a plane crash, you're going to have a lot of investigations.
Oh, a lot of investigations.
And that takes a while. And I didn't remember everything.
There's a lot more crashes today in the last few years, and there's a lot more problems in aviation because of what happened in the last 10 years of putting more woke culture people into those pilot seats. Mm-hmm. It's just, if you're going to be a busboy or a waiter, I don't care who you are. But the average IQ of pilots used to have to be like at least 140, 150. And you can't, you have to do that. Otherwise you don't qualify. And ask any passenger walking in an airplane, you want your pilot to be qualified or do you want your pilot to be diverse?
Yeah, nobody cares what they look like. Qualified, please. And
qualified, please.
It doesn't matter what your skin color is.
I'm a pilot. The joke we tell, and you're a pilot, the joke we tell in my family is if both pilots, something happened to them, I could probably fly the airplane.
Yeah.
Okay? But we don't want to get to that point.
So let me get you on the war. They got the blockade. It seems to be going just fine. I feel like we have upper hand. It felt like I'm only going off of feeling here because we don't know that much.
Has made the free world free again. He has done a phenomenal job. I know you talked to him yesterday. I talked to him this morning. And, he did a fantastic job being on with Maria Bartiromo this morning. And you know what I said to him? I said to him that you did a great job, that you should be on with Maria Bartiromo every Friday morning or whatever. Just like, Bloomberg was on
with the radio,
with WOR radio, when
and Giuliani did the same thing.
Jerry Crowley was there. Every Friday to give the state of the city. Yeah. And he did well. And I think that President Trump should be on it every Thursday, Friday, whatever he picks it. He's the president. Yeah. And Bloomberg got a 3rd term. So I jokingly said to the president, maybe everybody will rise up and say, you need a 3rd term.
I always felt when he came down that escalator and I listened to that speech that one day he'd have Ronald Reagan type support. 49 state victory territory. It could happen.
Ronald Reagan only lost that 50th state by about a few thousand votes.
And my legend has it he did it on purpose so Mondale wouldn't be disgraced in Minnesota. Walter Mondale was from Minnesota.
Something about Ronald Reagan had a heart.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about Donald, but the president. But
you see, that's the thing.
Listen, he is a businessman first, a politician second.
He has a big heart. I know he has a big heart. He does. He's
behind the scenes.
He's discreet.
When he's in front of reporters, he has no heart.
It's an amazing moment. So, by the way, oil prices, you're in the energy business as well. This thing with the other strait, there's one on the other side of the Saudi Peninsula.
The Red Sea or the Strait of Trump?
This is all going to be, as an energy executive, you're not worried?
No, I think once things settle down, the price of WTI, which is American crude, should be anywhere from $55 to $65. Probably Brent, maybe $10 more. traditionally is $10 more.
Mm-hmm.
I think you bring down the key is you bring down the price of the cost of energy. And yesterday on my show, I had the Secretary of Energy,
Mr. Wright.
Right. And they're putting in a gas pipeline from Pennsylvania all the way to the Rockaways. So trying to bring down the cost of energy to New York City, New Yorkers. And because we're getting killed in New York. You're going to see your electric rates go up. You're going to see I mean, it's just crazy what's going on. But in addition to that, I told you about Chris Wright. We got the president, and I know he's working on it. He's going to get the new Federal Reserve chairman confirmed, and next week maybe.
Worst.
And we got to bring down the cost of money, because you want to buy a new house, or anybody wants to buy a new house, it's got to be reasonable number on the on interest rates.
One more thing. I know candidates, let's face it, candidates need money and they raise money all the time. A trend, it's been Democrats are better with small donors. This guy Calico, he's running in Texas. He's a Senate candidate in Texas. He's raised $25 million, mostly small donations. And my interpretation, others say, well, for Democrats, politics is a religion. So the small donors will give. Small donors, $5, $10. You get a lot of people giving a little money. That's great. How do we compete in that area? How do conservatives compete in that area where religion is religion? Politics doesn't dominate their lives.
Number one item is versus the word left or right versus the word conservative of liberal is common sense Americans. And that all common sense Americans should sit around the same table. It happened with Newt Gingrich and Bill Clinton. It happened with Ronald Reagan and Tip O'Neill. We need more common sense in Washington. And Washington is a swamp. Yeah. And we were talking about it at the 5 o'clock show with Rita and Judge Weinberg yesterday and Craig Eaton. And you know what we said? We said we got to clean up that swamp. You can't be in Washington and have sex 10 times a week. You know, I mean, we got to clean up the swamp.
Okay. How many times a week can we have sex? 5. What's the right number? No, when you're a congressman, you should be doing the people's business.
You should, remember the movie, Mr. Smith Goes to Washington?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm going to get a lot of flack on this. Maybe we need less lawyers and more business people, in the Congress and the Senate.
Too many lawyers.
I like having doctors on there because they represent it, even though I don't agree with Rand Paul and everything. You need doctors, you need lawyers, you need business people because you need common sense decisions. You can't have, what do you think it is right now? 80% lawyers?
That's a good question.
We got to Google that or give
it's a lot.
An AI search, artificial intelligence. How many out of 435 congressmen and 100 senators? What percentage are the 535 lawyers?
They do write laws, so it's not
and honorary lawyers don't count.
Okay.
I mean, look what's going on in California. You believe what's going on in California?
The whole damn what aspect of the chaos?
By the way, we got on this conversation. You want to know what I'm going to do in Mondami?
Yeah.
My duty to God and my country and to our city is to make sure. I told Mondami that he can use me as much as he wants, but he's the mayor. It's his decision. It is to make sure that New York City does the right deal and a good deal.
Well, amen to that. Before you go, 2028, we got to get through the midterms. On the Republican side, who's impressing you right now?
I would say the top 2 candidates right now is Marco Rubio and J.D. Vance.
That's going to be one hell of a dance going forward.
And I'll tell you who the third guy is.
Who?
The tall guy from Virginia.
Oh, Youngkin?
Youngkin. He's got nothing to do and he's got money in the bank.
Yeah, that's time and money.
You heard it here.
Yeah. He's probably going to throw his hat in, and it would be interesting to see.
And those tall guys have an advantage sometimes. I mean, me and you are average we're both about 5'8", 5'10". I don't know.
I know. I'm not. I don't exceed 6 feet. I wish I did.
If we were above 6 feet, do you think we'd be more successful?
I saw a guy at a party the other day. I said, "What is it like up there?" It was Dr. Migalos.
Oh yeah, 6'7".
I said, "What is it like up there? You see everything." You know what I mean? And he told me his perspective. It's kind of interesting. It's a different one.
By the way, I interviewed him the other day on blood pressure, and he says his blood pressure has to be a little bit higher to get blood all the way up to 6'7".
Well, that's one thing. And I learned from our friends at Abacus, if you're over a certain height.
I'm a stockholder in Abacus.
It's awesome company.
Yes.
And they know that there are very few people who make it to 90 or 100 who are very tall. You know what I mean? Like for
no wonder he's scared. No wonder he's being careful. By the way, a good friend, Dick Soloway, is in the hospital.
Why?
He went in for an operation or something, a minor operation, and they kept him in the hospital.
One of the nicest
He's
men.
a good guy. You know what I said to him?
Nicest man.
I said to him, at our age, stay away from alcohol, stay away from salt, stay away from sugar, and stay away from dairy products.
Yeah.
I think he told me to go to hell.
And Dom Soloway, his wife, we're thinking about you too at this time.
Yeah, we love you, the Soloways. We love you, and tell your dad we still love him. Yeah. And Manhattan College. We did that big dinner for him.
It's so beautiful. Manhattan University. They upgraded.
They upgraded.
Yep. University. They'll have a law school now. No law school. John Catsimatidis, we thank you. We'll be listening at 5:00, and we'll be right back.
I wrote a little song to remind you, Choice Hotels get you more of the experiences you value. The Cambria Hotel's got it all. A rooftop bar, have a ball. Bring a date, your squad, or even your mom. Book direct at choicehotels.com.
Greg Kelly on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
What a beautiful thing. Thank you, John Catsimatidis, for that wonderful conversation. Melania Trump is on Capitol Hill. You know what she's talking about? Foster children. I didn't know she was involved. Foster kids, it's amazing. Foster parents are great. And somebody told me something, and it really stayed with me. It was a foster child, a former foster child. It was actually Terrence K. Williams. He's a bit of a comedian. He's an influencer, social media guy. Terrence K. Williams. He said, America, we spend more money on cats and dogs than we do foster children. Kind of stay with me. I'm looking at the Strait of Hormuz live. Looks like a little bit of a lull. We got a lot of ships on one side, a lot of ships on the other side. Got a lot going through, but it looks under control. U.S. says we're very much engaged in talks with Iran right now. Looking good.
Greg Kelly, entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
We had Congressman George Santos call in yesterday. Ex-Congressman George Santos has become a genuine friend of mine. I like him. He made some mistakes and lied about being on the volleyball team, lied about going to college. He told me, well, if I told them the truth that I hadn't been to college, I would not have been nominated. That's a lie that, he should not have told. And getting expelled from Congress for embellishing your resume? I don't think so. But, and the financial stuff, I saw what he went down for, charging things to the campaign. He charged some things to the campaign. Anyway, he gave me tremendous insight into what the hell's going on. Oh, wait, Justice Department works to toss convictions of January 6 rioters. All right, that's picking up steam. There are a couple of guys there who are still walking around. A lot of people were pardoned or had their sentence commuted. Everybody had their sentence commuted, but there are some guys who are still walking around with federal convictions, seditious conspiracy, and they shouldn't. That was a setup, baby, an absolute setup. Kind of like I think this Swalwell thing may have been, to be honest. Actually, yeah, I do. I don't believe. They tell me believe women. Well, I believe evidence. I believe, and I have common sense. And so even people on our side, screw him. I did this thing in a video last night. I said, okay, imagine if it wasn't Swalwell. We got a picture of Swalwell. And if Swalwell just disappeared and put in, imagine your brother, imagine your son, imagine, Hey, Katy Perry. Katy Perry is now accused of sexual assault in 2010. In 2010. What was going on in 2010? Obama was in his first term, right? How is Katy Perry or anybody else supposed to defend themselves? How are you supposed to prove that? Well, I told my friend, here's a text message. No, that doesn't cut it, man. That doesn't cut it. And I don't buy that women are weak. I don't buy that women are somehow, right? I don't. They can do everything and like stand up for themselves. Something is really rotten about this whole damn thing. Now, I think Eric Swalwell doesn't deserve to be in Congress based on, hell, he was involved in the phony impeachment of President Trump. For that, he should be in jail. All those guys for wasting our time. But this, now here's the lady making the accusations. People are giving me a hard time. Like, how dare you? How dare you question her? Well, I talked at the top of the show. Maybe you missed it. Maybe you didn't. You don't know what the trauma is like when you undergo sexual assault. Well, that's true. But maybe you don't know what it's like to be falsely accused of sexual assault. And that happened to me. And I know what that's like. And yeah, that leaves a mark. Okay? Every day of my life, I'm reminded of that fiasco. Although it was also a blessing, actually. Adversity can make you better. And adversity can open your eyes. And adversity can instruct you. And I know. Thank God. Anyway, here's the lady. First, you got to remember, it's Lisa Bloom. Lisa Bloom, who have like kind of made this an art, the art form of the shakedown of the lawsuit. Oh, she was an advisor to Harvey Weinstein. Remember that, right? Money, 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 money. Of course, just like her mom, Gloria Allred, she puts her arm around these people telling stories from 8 years ago. I don't buy it. I'm sorry, I don't. You ready? Do you buy it? Go ahead.
I am attorney Lisa Bloom. With me is my law partner, Eric Fudali, and my client, Lana Drews. Lana will be reading a statement. Eric Fudali and I will also have statements. Lana will not be answering questions. Eric Fudali and I will be answering questions after the statements. Thank you all for coming. Lana?
Hello, everyone.
Get closer.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lana Drews. In 2018, while I was living and working as a model in Beverly Hills, and I also owned a fashion software company, I had contact with Eric Swalwell on 3 separate occasions after meeting him socially. He offered me connections to further my software company, and I also had an interest in local politics. He invited me to 2 public events. I knew he was married at the time and that his wife was pregnant. He was my friend. On the 3rd occasion, I believe he drugged my drink. I only had 1 glass of wine. We were supposed to go to a political event, and he said he needed to get paperwork from his hotel room. When I arrived at his hotel room, I was already incapacitated, and I couldn't move my arms or my body. He raped me, and he choked me. And while he was choking me, I lost consciousness. And I thought I died. I did not consent to any sexual activity. Although I did not undergo a rape kit at the time, I disclosed the assault to the people closest to me. I also recorded these events in my handwritten calendar. The assault and its impact were later documented during my therapy sessions at a sexual assault center in Connecticut. It had a profound impact on my mental health. I self-medicated in an unhealthy way. I did not want to live anymore. I cried all the time for years. At the time, I was in a dating relationship with a boyfriend I was fully committed to. I've never cheated in my life, and I would never have engaged in a consensual sexual encounter with Eric Swalwell. That reality further underscores the non-consensual nature of what occurred. It was a politically unusual and intense time in Beverly Hills, and I was considering a run for city council, which placed me in proximity to political figures and events and added to the pressure to remain composed and silent. Eric was aware I owned a software company, and he spoke repeatedly about his ability to make introductions in Silicon Valley, referencing his political representation and influence there. I was not interested in him romantically, but I was interested in the business relationship and professional connections he offered to provide. My delay in taking action against Eric was driven by fear, not doubt. Fear of his political power, his background as an attorney, and his family law enforcement ties. I have never doubted what happened. I stand with the other women who have come forward, and I will be making a report to law enforcement shortly with my attorneys.
So, what most people do when they hear something like that is shut the hell up and listen and, just move on, right? Some believe, many don't. Those who believe and have a political agenda make a lot of noise about this. Those who don't, shut the hell up. And this is allowed to go on. This is not America. This is not right. You don't make allegations of that nature 8 years after the fact. And when you do, I think you hold yourself open to legal action, defamation. That's attacking the victim. Well, no, I think that story is very suspect. And the whole imagery. And by the way, did you hear that one line in there? She never cheated on anybody. And that further underscores the non-consensual nature of what occurred. Talk about careful lawyered language, huh? Talks about being her mental health, self-medicated, cried all the time for years. This is setting up damages, right? Because there's a lot of money in Congress. And Kevin McCarthy and others have now said, we knew about this for years. I don't know. I mean, to make statements like that when you're I wonder about their collusion with the lawyers. There's a collusionary thing going on here. The lawyers, there's money at stake. She met him socially. On the third occasion, I guess they stopped for drinks on the way to the political event. She said they were going to a political event. I don't know how she had the glass of wine. Must have been drinks on the way to the political event. Oh, by the way, I got to get papers from my office. Let's go get the papers. Or no, from my hotel room. Come with me to the hotel room while I get the papers. You just met the guy? We were friends. Political event. Choked. Did not consent. You know, choking is now a thing. People like to be choked. People like to choke. Not my thing, but I've heard it as a thing. It's like that autoerotic asphyxiation, which I have heard of, right? Every now and then some celebrity dies because of that. Choking. Just, it's written on her personal calendar. Now, a personal calendar is not a diary. So I have no doubt that she met Eric Swalwell at an event, right? September 13th, Eric Swalwell fundraiser. Eric Swalwell, I don't know, mental health, 8 years later, and she even has the press conference before going to the cops. And all that language. I stand with the other women. You don't even know the other women. What are they actually saying? What haven't they said? You want to hear what the other women said? Not much, actually, but it's dressed up as, oh my gosh, this is the most shocking thing in the world. You got that CBS National Report? Folks, strip away everything that society and big media and Democrats right now want you to think about this. And forget about Eric Swalwell. Just pretend it was somebody you know and love who is in the crosshairs of big media and Democrats. All right, these are some of the most corrupt people in the world. I don't believe them. I suddenly am supposed to believe them because they dressed it up, because they're using these alleged victims as camouflage for their corrupt objectives. You ready? All right. CBS. Walter Cronkite was at that table for 20 years. Dan Rather was at that table for 20 years. Never since we've had about 15 different people come and go. But here we go with the latest guy introducing the news. Listen very carefully. Try to ignore the hype. Listen to what they actually say. Go ahead.
2 members of Congress have resigned after separate allegations of sexual misconduct. Texas Republican Tony Gonzalez has admitted to a relationship with a former aide. But California Democrat Eric Swalwell has denied everything but what he calls mistakes in judgment. Our Nancy Cordes spoke with 2 of his accusers.
The reception that we've gotten has been amazing.
Annika Albrecht says she never expected one social media video might lead to this. Eric Swalwell dropping his bid for governor and resigning from Congress, all in the span of 48 hours.
I'm terrified to speak out, which is why it's taken me so long.
You thought you'd get blacklisted from Democratic jobs?
Absolutely.
Albrecht met Swalwell on a college trip to D.C. 7 years ago. She claims his offers to mentor her quickly turned suggestive.
He invited me to a hotel to meet him. It was very clear what the connotation was.
Ali Samarco claims Swalwell sent her similar messages and a lewd photo 5 years ago.
Why do you think someone so ambitious would do something this reckless repeatedly?
He thought he was untouchable. He acted with total impunity. He never thought that the consequences of his actions would follow him.
The 2 had never met until 2 weeks ago when Albrecht urged her close friend Cheyenne Hunt, a Democratic social media creator, to post a video about Swalwell.
You know Eric Swalwell has slept with many of his interns.
It triggered a wave of messages.
One of the first ones who reached out to me disclosed to me that it was a full-on assault.
Another woman accused him of rape just today.
I believe he drugged my drink.
Former model Lana Drews alleges that it happened at an LA event in 2018.
When I arrived at his hotel room, I was already incapacitated and I couldn't move my arms or my body.
Swalwell has denied the assault allegations.
They're absolutely false. They did not happen.
Though he admits he made mistakes in judgment.
What I keep thinking back to is how lucky I am that I didn't go to that hotel. Because I think of the other women in the stories and what he could have done to me.
The Manhattan DA's office has confirmed that they are investigating another allegation of sexual assault at a hotel in New York. Late this afternoon, Swalwell's lawyers accused these women of being part of a political hit job. But the ones we spoke to said their only goal here was to stop this from happening again. Tony.
Nancy Cordes for us. Nancy, thank you.
Their only goal is to stop this from happening again. Well, it would have been great if if that person in 2018 came forward because something allegedly happened in 2024 and that would have stopped it. You strip it away and listen to the 2 accusers. There are 2 accusers in that piece that Nancy Cordes of CBS interviewed. Now, I have exactly what they said. You boil down. The reception we have received so far has been amazing. Soundbite 1. Soundbite 2. I'm terrified to speak out, which is why it has taken me so long. Soundbite. That's soundbite 2. Soundbite 3. He invited me to a hotel to meet him. It was very clear what the connotation was. That's her 3rd soundbite. 4th soundbite. What I keep thinking about is how lucky I am I did not go to that hotel. Now, the anchor is obviously filling in some blanks, right? And she doesn't go that far. Suggestive text messages 7 years ago. And the other woman says, according to the anchor, 7 years ago she received a lewd picture from Swalwell. And they ask her, well, why do you think he was doing this if he was so ambitious? Now, the one thing she says in the piece, he never thought he'd have to, there would be consequences for his actions. Now, one thing I want to point out, a lot of these ambitious guys, and this is a bad thing, by the way, it's not like, oh, why would he do this? You know, when he's so ambitious, why would he fool around with women? Well, he's ambitious because he wants to fool around with women. Like, he wants to fool around with women. What's the best way to fool around with women? I'll be a congressman. I'll be a governor. I'll be powerful. Kind of like Bill Clinton. So it's all very, very weird. And this is un-American. And I'm not jumping on any bandwagon. And I'm no Salem witch party member, okay? Even when it happens to my enemies. Be right back.
Greg Kelly, entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Hey, was Eric Swalwell a Republican at one point? Am I seeing this? Is this right? I'm learning more things. I don't know if that's true. I do know that he was once married before the woman he's with now. All right, the woman he's apologizing to all over the place. All right, 800-848-9222. 800-848-9222 as we wrap up. Mike, hello.
Hi, Greg. Great show today. Eric Swalwell, I cannot stand him. I loathe him as a human being. However, I do have some questions about these allegations that are coming forth. I do think he engaged in some activity with these women. And as to whether it was consensual or not, or they were under the influence of alcohol.
Well, do me a favor. You're a detective, former detective. Maybe you're a present detective. Put on this woman, like 8 years later, this is just, if you're talking to your guys in the squad room and this person comes in and you hear the story and it's just Joe Blow, it's not Eric Swalwell, what do you say to each other?
What I always told the detectives I retired as a lieutenant. So I would say, you got to explain to this person, how's a jury of 12 people going to believe this? And one of the big things that we always talked about was, all right, what happened up to the alleged event? So we went out for drinks. Then we were kissing, we were hugging, we were doing stuff like that. And all of a sudden it got out of control and I was passed out and he sexually assaulted me. So I used to say to the victims, like, hey, listen, it doesn't make any sense. And did you say no? Do you know how many people said, unfortunately, it was sometimes younger women who said, I think in my head I was saying no. You can't have it both ways.
Well, I do know this. No means no, right? And you can make out with a guy. That doesn't give him license to, have intercourse with you. But, well, thanks, Mike. This is a very, very oddball situation, all right? And I thank you, and I thank you all. We'll be back tomorrow. Dominic's coming up.
Thanks for listening to The Greg Kelly Show. You can hear The Greg Kelly Show weekdays at 12:15 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?